We'll start with a normal square foundation like this. We'll wall off one of the corners and place our TC facing this direction. Next we'll extend the right side out one triangle and two squares. On the left we'll add these two triangles. We can put a wall here and we can also wall in the entire other side. Here we can place our first raised foundation. Next we'll place this triangle along with another raised foundation on this side. What we basically done here with these raised foundations is add an entrance to where our bunker will be later on in the build. But right now it's more important to secure this a bit more, so let's do that. We'll add walls to this side and two double door frames. If needed, you can use wooden doors here for now. Until we expand our base a bit more, this will be our main airlock. This next part is a bit tricky. We'll place a full wall here with hard side facing this way. Next we'll build a half wall, which will help us get this square and triangle into position. Get rid of the twig buildup and grab yourself two large boxes. The first one will go up here and snug up against the wall. Now here comes the really cool part. If we place a roof tile here, it will open a hole in the wall which will allow us to place a box through it. To place this box perfectly, you want the two tips of the boxes to kind of touch. Once the box is placed perfectly, we can break the roof and now the box sticks through the wall. When you're satisfied with the box placement, you can start adding the roof. Now once this roof is added, you can no longer open the wall back up, so keep that in mind. Now we can start adding some half walls to seal the base and for our bunker entrance here. We'll add some more to the top and then finish it off with a couple of roof tiles. Remember to get this one behind the door. Now we are completely closed off from the outside with a basic airlock. But I'd like to talk to you about these two foundations. Technically, they don't need to be here. So by deleting them, we gain an extra space for two sleeping bags and also the ability to put stashes here. Now depending on the height of your foundations, you may need to add something to jump on to get out of the bunker. I'll use a small box here, but be creative with the terrain that you have here. That is pretty much the main section done, but there are still key elements inside that we have not yet finished, but this should get you started. To build our first big loot room, we need 10 large boxes, 3 small, and 3 barbecues. We use a twig half wall to get a square and triangle at half height. Break the twig here and upgrade both of these to stone. From around here we can begin placing our bottom row of large boxes. They should all be as far back and as far right as possible. There is wiggle room left and right, but the better it's done, the less you have to crawl later to get your loot from the back boxes. If you place these with your back against the wall that's behind you, you're guaranteed to have left enough space to crawl through later. The top row will be the same as what we just did, but with one slight variation since we have to build around the box sticking through the wall. This first one we want to place in such a way that it touches the box in the wall, but it's also perpendicular to the wall on the left. The remaining ones can all be placed the same as below. When this loot room is complete, it will be able to hold 62 rows of storage. Now that's 372 slots, which should be more than enough for the beginning of the wipe. Just for information's sake, no matter how well these boxes are placed, it is impossible to get more than 5 on each level. Once this last one is in, we can grab ourselves 3 barbecues and 3 small boxes. The first combo of these two items will go in this corner. Make sure it is far back enough that you can still access the large box on the right. Next we'll do the exact same thing down here. If we turn around, we can also fit one here. Now with this one, it is important to make sure that it is far left as possible, or there is a chance it will block the placement of the bunker seal. Now that room is done, but equally important is what we're going to do here. You may even choose to do this first. We're going to grab 2 furnaces, a level 1, and a couple of boxes. We can temporarily place 2 furnaces here to help with metal and GP production. We can grab a large box for this corner here. This is his permanent home. Our level 1 can go here for now. These are easy to break, so it's no problem to get rid of it when we need to. We'll introduce this small box to its new permanent home, here. You can see why the items in this room may be of higher priority in the early wipe. In the future, this room will be a fully sealed HQM vault, separate from the contents of the stability bunker that's in front of us. So before we go any further, let me show you how to actually seal the bunker. We'll put the half wall here. This has to be upgraded to wood. Next, we'll place 2 triangles. This first one is the actual entrance. Upgrade it to whatever the rest of your bunker is. Sheet metal in our case right now. Upgrade the one behind it to the same grade. It looks like this from the outside. It is possible to splash a second triangle, which is why you upgrade it to the same as the entrance triangle. The scary part is this corner here. It is very close to the wood half wall that is behind it. Now I was unable to splash damage with the Explo ammo to hit it. If this is ever demonstrated to be possible though, you will have to add a wall here and upgrade it. To be honest, it may be wise to do this either way. So that's what the bunker looks like. We are not done with this part of the base, but this seal will remain the same. Also, it opens like this. Adding doors to the front here will be the first step in expanding. We'll use 2 triangles and a wall here. A wall frame will hold up a sheet metal double door at the front. Close in the top and add this wall frame, which is for our first garage door. Face the roller part away from you. Behind us, we'll take down this double door. Second floor access will be from this point, so our second garage door needs to go here. Face the roller part towards you. It will be concealed later in the build. Now on the second floor, we can begin walling in the entire outside portion of the base. This can be done with mostly full walls, but when you reach this section, we'll finish with 2 half ones. Our ceiling will pretty much follow the floor plan beneath us, except this is not our top floor, so we need to leave one of the tiles open for an elevator, which will be this one here. Since early door paths are usually weak, we'll add a wall here with hard side facing the entry point. Next we'll add a half floor to get this triangle into place so that we can jump up easier. Our third garage door will go here, so we'll add a wall frame in front of it. Roller part facing you here, and we'll need one more sheet metal door for the roof. From up here, if this second wall on the edge gives you a hard time, cover the triangle with twig. This allows very easy placement. Now seal this roof and add the sheet metal double door to the front. Now we have some basic roof access accompanied by an entire second floor worth of space to build in. Hopefully your furnaces have been cooking up metal because I believe it's time to do some basic material upgrading at this point. So one thing to notice here is all of these walls are exposed directly to the outside, except for this one which actually has our front entrance path behind it, but the rest do. This poses a problem since, for example, over here, this loot room and actually the TC room is only one stone wall to get to. So the best place to start upgrading would be all of these exposed walls and the foundations underneath them. Doing this doubles the raid cost immediately, but we can do even better than that, for a reasonable stone price that is. So now, let's mark all of the sides we're going to add triangle stone honeycomb to, which, in the end, will be all of them. You can add in each piece of honeycomb one at a time, but my favorite method of doing this is by adding the triangle floors above each of them first, and then just come back around placing all the full walls after. Doing this honeycomb will add more raid costs from this direction for sure, but it will entice raiders to take other paths, which we will discuss and eliminate right after this. This honeycomb section is now 3 times more expensive to raid than it was before we added it. Many experienced raiders will look to soft side pick foundations when they are still stone and early into the wipe, so let's sheet metal them right now. Now doing this is also visible to the outside, pretty much advertising that this is where the bunker entrance is, so let's cover that up immediately. We're going to use roofs here instead of walls. It's a little bit cheaper this way and makes the base look more complicated to raid than it actually is, hopefully warding off all amateur raiders. Be aware that doing this does allow people to climb up to your roof for the time being. Now, about those raid paths. Once you're ready to raid, 1 rocket and 8 explosive ammo will take out the front door. An additional 4 rockets will take out both the following garage door and the wall. Now this route is way cheaper than the 12 rockets it takes through the honeycomb we just built, so let's upgrade this wall to sheet metal. Now it is slightly cheaper this way still, but this will change soon. Another likely scenario would be shooting 4 rockets to open up the second story. Since the floor appears all stone, it only takes another 4 rockets to get the whole base. This means that upgrading all of this floor to sheet metal makes a lot of sense right now. Also, this section should be sheet metal because it gives access to the foundations that can be soft side picked, which is free raid cost in my head. For the entrance, we're going to add a few doors. We can do this by first adding a square, triangle, and another square. We can place a wall here, followed by a wall frame and another frame. Here is where our single door goes. In these 2 wall frames, we'll place shop fronts so that we have good vision of our surroundings. We'll add a ceiling here and our shell is finished. For our second door in, we'll use a sheet metal double that swings towards the front. This will give us a basic airlock. For our next door in, we'll want something a bit heavier, so we'll use a garage door in this spot. At this time, a sheet metal door this deep into the base doesn't make much sense, so we'll replace it with another garage door. With the front done, we can make our way to the roof. Up here we're going to add a window floor, but first let's add some honeycomb to the sides. We'll put a roof on each of these squares above the door path. Now we're going to add in some full walls, but it is very important that the hard sides face the same way as in the video. This last one looks weird right now, but when we come up here and finish the honeycomb, it works out great. Just to be sure, you can check if this wall is indeed hard side. The next step is to add some windows for us to see out of in the event of a raid, or just to take in the sights. When you get to this slot here, you have the option to add a single door frame. This gives you an elevated second exit from your base. If you do this, it is best to place an armored door here to maintain symmetric raid costs across the floor. Now we can add in our reinforced glass windows. There will be a total of 9 on this floor. Now we can add in our ceiling. We're going to fill in all of the spaces except for one, which we'll use for our final elevator. This one right here. With the double door on our left, we'll place 2 walls with hard sides facing in. This is to prevent raiders from being able to raid one door on top and soft side pick into this room. We'll put a frame and a garage door here. You can put a half height floor here, but I wanted to show you that a single furnace can also work. With the current state of the base, this door becomes a weak spot instantly, so let's replace it with a garage door. Now we can jump up here and finish off our roof access point. You can face the door whichever way you like. Now personally, I like to face it opposite of the entrance, giving you options in times of need. Now we have a base that's decently secure with multiple exits and defense options. It does have a bit of a I can't be bothered to raid that type of feel to it, which is what I was going for. At this time we can add in our second story honeycomb, which we can access by jumping up here. We'll start adding in triangles above all the pieces we're going to honeycomb. We can add in the full walls now, just be sure that the hard sides all face in to give the desired outcome. You may be able to place the full walls from the ground, but I believe the triangles are too high to reach. Now our honeycomb is looking nice and beefy. Now on the inside, we'll go up to the second floor and sheet metal all the walls around the edge of the base. Since we just added honeycomb on the outside of these walls, none of them are visible to the outside. We'll want to follow this up with sheet metaling the entire roof here. I plan to section this floor off a bit more, so no reason to let raiders get multiple rooms for cheap with a top-down raid approach. Upgrading like this, progression-wise, leaves a lot of paths for upgrading and expanding later in the wipe. Looking good up here, so we can make our way down and we'll upgrade some stuff on the way. We want to upgrade all the walls touching these high foundations. If you have 26 HQM handy, upgrading these is a great investment. We'll also want to upgrade this wall and the foundation. Our loot room looks good, but we can upgrade this, and now it's time to upgrade our vault to HQM. This means all the pieces that make up the vault. Now we're not going to fully seal this with a wall until we do more optimizations inside it. Now what's great about this vault trick is that it is 15 rockets from every direction and uses minimal HQM. It's OP. I also suggest upgrading the foundations so that the loot and TC can't be broken during a raid. Well, we're finished with the inside for now, but if we come to the outside, we have a couple more things to upgrade, including this roof section. You could hold off on this upgrade for the time being if you want, but these roof tiles are what add honeycomb to our bunker entrance, which can be vulnerable to jackhammers if not secured properly. Beautiful. Now from the second floor, it is very important to upgrade this wall and the ceiling tile way at the top. Without doing so, the raiders can break one stone wall and gain access to the second floor for a lower cost. When designing a base, it is very important to find any of these types of shortcuts raiders can take. While we're up here, we can add a half wall here and sheet metal it. We'll add the same thing over here. This will make more sense once we start to fill this floor in. The first thing we'll fill in on the second floor is another big loot room. For this one, we'll need 10 large boxes, 4 small ones, and also 4 barbecues. We'll also need a garage door. Let's build a frame with the garage door facing out first. Now we can go ahead and build 2 half-height squares to make more space for boxes. Once we place those, we'll start on the top. Our first large box goes as far back and as far right as possible. Now this positioning should be considered for every large box in this loot room. There will be 5 on the top and as well as 5 on the bottom. Once the 5th one is in position, we can grab ourselves 2 barbecues and 2 small boxes. Each of these levels have 2 of this combo. The barbecue and small box on this side is the reason that we needed to put the garage door on first. Now exactly the same as the top will be this bottom layer. This is one of my favorite loot rooms, as you may be able to tell at this point. It has a lot of space, but it also maintains easy accessibility. It is also very easy to place the boxes when the walls around it are sheet metal, as we're doing here. We'll finish this off with the barbecue and small box combo. This is a combo for storage that is brilliant. Props to whoever thought to use it like that first. We'll place this last set in and then our loot room is done. We now officially have a ton of storage in this space. The next room we'll build will be a bedroom. Once again, we'll have to place a frame with the garage door first. Before we place the beds, it is easier to get a large box into this corner first. We can place a small box right next to it. Once they are in, we can go ahead and grab our first bed. You can easily fit 2 in here, even with the walls being sheet metal, but they always do seem to feel clunky to me. And that is our bedroom on the 2nd floor, done. To finish off the 2nd floor, we can jump up here and add a large box to the left side, and then do the same on the right side. We can place one all the way in the back, and then still be able to fit in an auto turret. If you could use the space better, please let me know. Now we'll add a wall frame and a garage door here. We are going to use 2 vending machines here, and it's important that we place the garage door first. I like to rotate them before I place them. They both fit snug up against the wall. Remember to disable the broadcasting for each one. If you don't, they will come up as an empty shop on the map. See, it doesn't show when they are both disabled. Now our 2nd floor is pretty much done. This is the most important part of the whole build. We're going to seal off our HQM vault permanently. The first thing we'll do is get rid of both of these furnaces and then also this workbench level 1. In its place, we're going to put a vending machine, once again with broadcasting disabled. We'll place our first sleeping bag from here. And for the second one, it's easy to place if we stand on the first one. If both are placed correctly, we can easily place a large box right next to them. Now make sure these sleeping bags are placed before you do this next step, or you will never be able to get to your TC again. Now we have a sealed vault that is 15 rockets to get in from all directions. It is also separate from the stability bunker making up the rest of this part of the base. Our level 3 workbench can fit right in this triangle. Make sure this is placed as good as you can get it. Make sure you can still seal the bunker like this. The bench was placed pretty bad in the video on purpose to show that it doesn't have to be perfect. It may be possible to get 2 small boxes underneath the level 3 still, but I was unable to find the angle to do so. You can also easily fit a small furnace in this little corner and still be able to seal from underneath. Now if you're wondering why I skipped a level 2, there doesn't necessarily have to be a permanent spot for it, but if you want one, you can place it on this raised foundation like so. Remember to add the small box under it, as well as a furnace next to it. Now our base is pretty beefy, with a bunch of storage space and strong options to defend against an offline raid. Now this is where the step-by-step part of the tutorial ends, but this is not where the expanding needs to end. This base was designed taking into consideration all progression all the way up to where the entire exterior of what you see can be sheet metal and the entire core HQM. If you get to that point in the wipe, you will definitely want to add at least one more layer of stone honeycomb. There are many paths and additions you can build to accommodate your playstyles here. Let me know what you would add to this design in the comments below. I hope to hear from you. Until I do, I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye for now.